Alas, summer, it ends. It's time for another year of learning useless facts that you plan to immediately forget after your last exam. As someone who just graduated college last year, I've gotta say, ha! Too bad for all of you. I'm a real adult who never has to take a test again. Yeah, I'm living my best life. Is that why you still live with your parents? Touché, kid. So, school! As someone who grew up homeschooled, I didn't have my first normal educational experience until I went to my local community college. And I adjusted pretty well. It was basically the same as homeschooling, except I learned in a different building and I wasn't allowed to look at the answer keys. How am I supposed to learn to solve this if I can't study the solution? After I completed my associate degree, it was time to go to Big Kid College. My university was halfway across the country in a strange land called Texas. I'd never lived away from home before, and I did not know a soul there. And since I was an upperclassman who transferred in the spring, I had to figure basically everything out for myself. What could go wrong? The first thing I learned was that dorms are patrolled by very important students called resident assistants. Our school had a strict no drugs or alcohol policy, and RAs would pop in at random times for a surprise inspection. You had about 3 seconds to open that door when they knocked, or else... I know they were just doing their job, but they had a knack for arriving at the worst possible times. Res life! Res life! Res life! Ah! I didn't have anything to hide though, so I wasn't that bothered by their visits. In fact, let me paint you a picture of just how innocent I was going into the school. I remember opening my refrigerator that first week and seeing a can of Red Bull that my roommate had left there. And I thought, man, I can't believe she broke the no alcohol rule. But the RAs were not the only ones with master keys. Oh no. They could order maintenance to be done at any time in your room without letting you know, and the workers would just come in unannounced. One morning when I was still in bed, I looked up and saw a random man in my room with a box of tools. I'm here to fix your bathroom cabinet. Okay. Sorry about the mess. One time my roommate, who's an awesome person by the way, was shocked to find that an RA had unlocked her bathroom door and put a sign inside while she was away. Oh yeah, they said they were putting those in all the bathrooms. I wish I had known. My hairdryer was lying out. That's so embarrassing. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Another thing I had to get used to were the very much not soundproof walls. They wouldn't have been a problem except whoever slept on the other side of my wall apparently didn't know how to turn off an alarm clock. They would go home on the weekends but leave their alarm set, and every weekend at the glorious hour of 6 a.m. I would be awoken by this. Dun 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 dun. Their alarm would go off for an hour, and it was so loud that I couldn't block it out. A couple of times I was so desperate to get some sleep that I dragged my pillow and a blanket to the residence hall and just crashed in a random room. I didn't want to say anything though because I hate confrontation, but eventually I did have to acknowledge, yeah, this is a problem. So I put a little note on their door asking them to please remember to switch off their alarm before leaving for the weekends. And what do you know? Just like that, I actually solved my problem. No, I'm kidding. They still did it. Dun, 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 dun. One time it rained so much that the campus flooded and a few guys went surfing in the courtyard. We later found out that the flood was partially connected to a sewage leakage, so... Cafeteria food! Everyone's always joking about how gross and nasty school food is, but ours was actually pretty good. Really, my only complaint was that it was healthy. What in the world, zucchini? Ugh. But yeah, the food was decent. When they had food. The cafeteria had a very set schedule, and if you weren't there during that time frame, you were eating stale cereal. For example, dinner, 5 to 8:30 p.m. My film history class, 5 to 8:30 p.m. Does the person who made this schedule have a college degree? The weekend offerings were especially scant. You had to go into survival mode, foraging for stray cookies and taking late-night trips to the vending machine to stay afloat. When my dad came to see me at the end of my second semester, he was shocked to find that I had lost 35 pounds. What happened? I should have just eaten the zucchini. But hey, despite all my complaining, I genuinely enjoyed my time at university. My classmates were kind, my teachers were supportive, and I learned a lot. And for those of you still in school, hang in there. Every time you pass a class you never thought you could, or achieve a grade you fought so hard to get, you'll grow stronger as a person. And I think that's pretty cool. Res life! Hey guys, before I go, I just want to make clear that I am so grateful that I got to attend college. Oh, and if you're an RA, I just want to say that, jokes aside, you are amazing. There is one RA in particular at that school who was always so sweet to me, and I'm really glad that I knew her. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.